Okay, so we're going to be playing the resource challenge. I think we're just going to play this this shade deck. This is probably the best deck in the game right now. I think that the power of the shade just means that this is yeah, this is just the best deck at the moment.
Establishing battlefield control. 3, 2, 1.
So basically the idea of the deck is just to play cheap units, abuse the power of the shade. Well, basically shade, venom and phantom combined can kill basically everything that your opponent can make. The biggest weakness of that is like laser spam, which is why you play Seth. And then you have bikes, because otherwise your deck can be a little bit weak to talons. And that's basically the whole reasoning behind the deck. Now against Nod, you normally want to open Air Tower, because they can't really punish it because of the shade. There's no, like, even if they go bikes first, they still can't punish you because shade just wins against War Factory so easily. But against GDI, they can have talons early, and then you need to be opening barracks against that. There's a slingshot. Now normally slingshot would be good against a deck with this much air, but obviously the shade just one-shots it, so it's not a big deal at all. Alright, so just gonna grab this first missile. There's no actual need to make any bites unless my opponent goes for talons, really. That's why they're in the deck, at least. Sometimes I'll make talons to mix it up a little, but generally speaking, we're just going to be using this shade to beat everything. Shade and venom and phantom. So I'm just going to wait to the re-stealth, and then we'll go in and kill this slingshot without taking any damage. I want to try and keep my shades off the pads so they can re-stealth. Get that EMP back again. You also need you need like any chip damage to finish off Pitbull along with the shade. As you can see, we've got basically infinite money as well because these shades are so efficient. There's just really not enough room in the deck to play a tech unit as well. You can play without the talons, so without the bikes. That's like a perfectly acceptable build to play without the bikes, and then you can play a tech unit, but then you are a little bit weak to a talon deck in the early game.
Unit offline. Enemy base destroyed. 3, 2, 1. New mission received.
So yeah, against GDI we'll still open barracks. Just because if you open air and they happen to go very fast talon, that can be a small issue. It's hard to go too wrong with this deck, though. We're gonna get some lasers and go after his harvester. Defensive militants should beat anything he sends in. I'm not gonna send my lasers to harass his missiles. I'm okay with losing this matchup here. Kind of whatever. Then we'll just go for a venom. This is a pretty bad turret from my opponent. It's obviously not going to do anything. We'll just get a venom to secure the rifle war in my favor. And my opponent's going to be forced to... He'd probably go War Factory here. Then we'll just make a shade. Alright, so he didn't go War Factory, he went second harvester instead. That means... I mean, a lot of double harvester decks are very weak to venoms. He just concedes when he sees the shade. Fair enough.
Mission accomplished. 3, 2, 1.
So normally I would try and avoid playing shade just because the unit is so broken that it's not particularly fun, I think, for anyone involved. Like, I don't think it's particularly fun even winning with the shade because it's that busted. But I will play it in competitive. I'll play it in tournaments when it's not banned, and I'll play it in events where I'm trying to get maximum score. Because in those things my aim is simply to get the highest score. But yeah, I try and avoid playing it for ladder just because it is such a miserable experience. And I would encourage people to to consider doing the same, because I do genuinely believe the shade is actually capable of destroying rivals. I think it's that miserable a unit. Alright, so we go venom, start harassing these shocks. Trying to get a little bit of value out of them before they die. So there is the Talon. That is the one unit that can be quite good against this deck. We'll leave these lasers to shoot the... If he wants to shoot my Venom whilst I'm shooting his Talon with lasers, that's fine. I'll win that matchup pretty easily. So now we will go bikes. As you can see, the Talon spam can be a bit of an issue. Just because they're so cheap. It's very hard. You can make new Talons quicker than Phantoms can reload. We'll make a Phantom now. We've got enough money. As long as we have the bike support, we should be fine. Well, there's an Orca. It's not very good, really. Not good against the Phantom. We will chase it down. We'll take a couple of missile hits. It's not a big deal. And we'll Seth down here. As you can see, like missile spam can be something that's a little bit difficult for the deck to deal with. Why play Seth? Alright, pretty easy win there. Not surprising since I'm playing Shade.
Objective complete. Three, two, one. New mission received. Harvester moving. Building online. Unit ready.
Goes up to one harvester. Bit so far. Let's stand on the pad. Wait and see what he does next. Second harvester. Alright, so we're just gonna go Shade, start harassing.
Unit ready.
Rolling thunder. Sounds electric. Let's go.
Right, so he's trying to scout out my rifles. That's fine because we're actually going Shade. So yeah, he's gone snipers, but we're already air. These snipers aren't going to be particularly effective.
Your command, I'll rip them apart. I'll rip them apart.
What's needed?
Honor to the brother. I'll rip
Not sure what these snipers are doing.
rip them up.
Start engaging thrusters.
Unit ready.
Okay, so we trade the snipers for militants. It's pretty fine by me.
Sounds and shade. Await stealth fighter moving. Ready to strike.
Unit ready. Nuclear weapon launched.
Time for
I was having a bad time.
Unit offline.
engage out. Time for some. Your herd starts moving. Shade blending in.
Unit ready.
Fighter away just a cloud in the wind.
Yeah, that boost doesn't do anything against the EMP, my dude.
Rolling thunder.
Sorry, unit is pretty broke.
Casting shadows. Hurts, doesn't it? Moving the lurking.
Unit ready.
Fight away just a cloud in the wind.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of sad, honestly.
Resounds ouch. Engaging meeting.
Unit offline.
Time for some
Unit ready.
A lot of slingshots, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all.
stealth fighter moving. The resistance is futile.
Nuclear warhead launched. Enemy base destroyed. 3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Carefully now.
Still against GDI.
Online.
He'll just go
Unit ready.
barracks first. Front's open barracks. Fine with the second rifle.
Unit offline.
Position. Just brothers move out.
I'll keep an eye on if he's got air, okay. Wait, see what the air is. It might be Razorback. Might be it might be Talon. Depends whether we want to make bikes or Phantoms. Razorback. We actually do need to make bikes because we haven't got enough time to save for a Phantom, unfortunately. So a Phantom would be significantly better here.
Unit offline.
There goes the Razorback. Here comes an Orca. We'll set drill pod to get this missile.
Unit ready. Unit offline.
Alright, could be the missile. Take another laser so he can't go for a harvester.
Unit offline.
Okay, and now we need to go Phantom.
Unit offline.
The Shade deck wins this matchup unless the Razorback deck has Zone Troopers. Zone Troopers counter the Shade deck really hard.
Phantom ready to engage.
Looks like he has double harvester as well, so there is a potential for Zone Troopers.
Position. EMP Phantom flying out. EMP missiles on them. Honor to the Brotherhood. Venom will
We would need to get them out very soon though. And then we still have access to the drill pod.
His will moves with us.
Sandstorm, okay, that's fine. We don't lose the sandstorms. Shades just beat sandstorms straight up, so not an issue at all. By the way, when I say straight up, I don't mean like 1v1, obviously. I just mean that like Shades can easily take down sandstorms.
You are victorious.
Although you could actually 1v1 a sandstorm to death with the EMP if you cycled it over and over.
New objective available.
For the crystals.
Okay, so we're against Nod, so we're going to open Venom.
Unit ready.
position. Venom will strike.
Right, opponent's open barracks, that's good for us.
Venom will strike.
Head over, see what he does. Going straight into bikes, that's fine. We obviously just Shade. But we do take a volley, unfortunately.
Ready to Venom.
Awaiting orders. You're so
There's the lasers. Alright, so now we'll go rifles against the lasers.
ready. Move.
Ready to
How'd you see me?
Venom coordinates.
What's the uncle strike? Stealth fighter moving.
Unit ready.
Going down.
Unit offline.
Resist pleasure here. Just a clap.
There's the EMP. Oh, we still take a volley, that's unfortunate. Okay, so he's gone Venom. We're gonna go Phantom for that. We're gonna try and eat a bike volley with these militants. Yeah, we do, nice. That's what I was going for. Phantom takes out the Venom. More rifles for the inevitable lasers.
Ready to engage.
How'd you moving the ship?
Okay, he's just doing very little right now, which is surprising. Stealth tank, sure. Not a problem. Stealth tank won't beat Shade, really. Run this away. I don't want this to die. I'll run this away and drill pod over here. Okay, he's fired the stealth tank, so now we send in the Shade. We'll make another Shade. Make sure we get it. And we'll send the Phantom to clean up this Venom. As you can see, the Shade is just outrageous. Like, stealth tank costs 100 and just doesn't even come close to fighting Shades. Really dumb unit.
Unit offline.
Let's move these flamers up to deal with the infantry.
Phantom flying out.
Whoops, shooting the wrong infantry. Thought I'd retargeted there, but I hadn't. We'll just let the Shade shoot these lasers. It'll do a pretty good job against them, honestly. I don't think he can deal with these flamers very effectively without her Venom, which we have the Phantom for. So we'll just keep making Shades. Yeah, it looks like these flamers are a really big problem for him.
EMP delivering. Disrupting the enemy.
Don't want to lose this. I do lose it, that's the thing. Alright, another stealth tank. Didn't mean to make a Venom, that's supposed to be a Shade as a misclick. Oh well. Looks like we're still fine. We'll just drill pod over here to make sure we get the missile. Yeah, no problem.
Objective complete.
Okay, up against Nod, so we're going to open with the Venom. The only way you can get abused by opening the Venom is if you actually get bike rushed. Like if your opponent goes bikes first before Harvester, then you could get abused by going Venom.
Building online.
Coordinates set.
Alright, so opponent's open barracks. Pretty standard to open barracks in this metagame, so it's normally pretty safe to go Venom first.
Strike.
Question is, does he go lasers or does he go straight into bikes? Based on the fact he hasn't made lasers yet, yeah, there they are. Looks like it was going to be bikes.
Your command.
We're going to try and bait them into the Shade. Yep, there we go. And the Venom can finish off the last bike. Although, actually, the last bike isn't even worth harassing. Not worth the hassle to go after. Okay, so weirdly our opponent has a Harvester AFK. I don't know if that's intentional. We'll go and start harassing them. Shade will one-shot this buggy, so... Alright, it shot a little bit at the Harvester, unfortunately. But yeah, you can see the Shade just makes War Factory not a building at all. It just makes it completely irrelevant. Drill pod here. Nod is just very bad against Shade. Like Nod is basically just incapable of dealing with Shades. It's very silly. And then they also just do really good base damage, so yeah. Go and kill your opponent's base with them as well.
Enemy base destroyed. One. New objective received.
Well, this guy just concedes. I guess he knows about the Shade.
You are victorious. Three, two, one.
Okay, so we can go rifles first against GDI as always. I actually want to get the I want to get the pads charging as quickly as possible against GDI as well, just because GDI has access to tech that the Shade deck can struggle with, like zone troopers. Like cyborgs are not that big a deal, but zone troopers can actually be a huge problem for the deck. So I think against GDI it makes sense to get the missile charging as quickly as possible.
Unit ready.
So we'll let him move in here, it's not a big deal. We'll actually move this guy out of the way and just push this one in. Could still win pretty easily. Defense there. And we'll change target on this rifle as well. We'll just keep making rifles for now. We can go into Venom in a second. Run the Venom down here. We'll just block him out. We should get the missile. Yep, just about. The Liang drone almost managed to steal it, but that's what the Liang drone does. We would have lost it if the Liang drone had been a little sooner, but it wasn't, so we're fine. Alright, so now we bring the Shade in. We don't want to push it over these infantry. That'll just be suicide for the Shade. But we can push up with Riflemen against these missiles, that's not a problem. And then we can drill. This is why the drill pod's in the deck, basically. This is the main reason for it. Alright, now we can go in against the Shade. Oh, this there. Sorry, what am I talking about? Slingshot. That's the name of the unit. Oh, the Angron saves it. Alright, nice play by my opponent there. Because it's so close to killing a Slingshot, if you Liang drone, you actually keep it alive just about. Alright, so now we take it out. And now we'll protect our Rifleman with this Phantom. This is going to die to the Shade if it tries to push in. Yeah, that was a misplay by my opponent. He should have used the... If he'd used the Slingshot to kill off the Phantom, he could have maybe killed the Venom as well. And then he could have maybe taken that missile. But trying to push into the Shade was obviously a huge misplay.
Objective complete. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, last game. Gonna open Venom because we're against Nod. So the main reason to open Venom is that if your opponent does happen to open War Factory, like if they go for wheels or something, then you can just go immediately into Shades. And you don't have any of the wasted Tiberium that you might have used on the barracks. Right, so we're gonna make a second Venom and go after these lasers. He's almost certainly gonna go bikes now. Yeah, there they are. We'll finish these off, go for the Shade, get them on the bikes. There you go, you see the bikes go down pretty easily to the Shade. And basically just play the whole game with Air Tower when you're against Nod, because they just can't deal with Venom Shade at all. Yes, we do take first missile pretty easily. We'll get some rifles just because it's a more efficient way to deal with these lasers. We do want to save up for a Phantom, sorry. If we need a Phantom, then we need to be able to afford it right away. Okay, simple stuff there. Another Shade. Venom in. Mod drill pod here. He also drill pods, so we'll make a Venom to counter it. We'll let this Shade finish off the laser. We'll do it in one shot. Oh, he's playing Shade as well. Oh, way too late, my dude. Way too late. And there you go. There it is. 10-0 with what is almost certainly the most overpowered deck in the game. Mostly just because of Shade. Shade is completely broken, and this deck is the best way to use it, I think. There's other builds like Jade Chems instead of Militant and Steph. There's any you can play the deck without the bikes, but with almost any tech unit if you want a tech splash. But I think this is the best build. Alright everyone, hope you enjoyed that. We're just going to be grabbing the standard rewards. I will see you next time.